Welcome back to the February sales challenge. Now, you guys are with me through this process here to show you guys ideally how we would get a customer within 1 month, okay, a $15,000 customer. And I showed you over the last couple of days or so in the last couple of videos, you probably have seen this process. Now, I want to tell you kind of a week in review. So, week one of February, so it's February 9th now. So, we just kind of look back at February 1 through 8. It's a little over a week, right? And so something that we did in the first week, which was set up the funnel, set up the ads, set up the VSL, set up the call funnel. Well, this is the same thing. Started marketing, right? Marketing. Generated leads, right? Got leads. This is all that happened in week one. So we got leads, we got appointments, we got a potential close, right? And so we did a lot of that in the beginning, created the VSL, created the call script, recorded the calls. And so now I want to kind of show you the numbers so you can see it. I'm going to go into some of these numbers here so you can see the numbers. And so I'm going to pull myself to the right a little bit. And so you can see it. So really what I'm looking at here is some of the numbers that fall down. Okay. So at the bottom here, you don't see this as far as what we spent 6,500 bucks in a week, which, you know, for most people can't do that. You can't stomach that, let alone like $123 per lead. That's not good. We generated 53 leads. And then of those 53 leads, we generated about 17 appointments, and 32% of them booked a call. So whoever applied actually booked a call. And so to some degree, this was also an effort from my part and my executive assistant. She was calling these leads, but some of these people were actually just booking straight on the calendar as well. So ideally, I like this to be right around here. 32% is really, really good. The appointment cost based on last week's numbers, 383 is not bad. Ideally, I like this to be closer to 250. If I can get this to 250, that's really great. Now, if I actually got this down, like if I got this to $50, so if I just do 106 because that's half, right? Then this, if I keep it at 32%, this would double as well, right? And then boom. So like that's where I would hit my threshold and I'd hit my number. But you know, that's the optimization that we're going to probably do in this week right here, week two. But for the most part, and I want to show you in a minute how I'm able to float $6,500 without, you know, too much scare. I'm not fearful of the spend. I'm actually fearful of the timing. So I'm fearful that I won't spend enough fast enough to make enough data points so I can make a decision at the end of the month. Most people don't have the stomach to spend 6,500 bucks. Now, to be fair, it's scary. It's scary. But let me show you. I'll show you tactically how I make it a little bit more less scary and how I'm thinking through this. So that way you can move much faster on these things. Now, to be clear, if you don't have experience in marketing or spending money on ads or any of that stuff, then this is going to be a total, it's going to suck for you and you're going to lose a lot of money. So I'd suggest don't do it. And if you don't already make money, don't run ads. Like we are ready, the business that's running right now, it doesn't require much more of me. We spend $150,000 a month and make multiple 6 to 7 figures per month already, right? And so this is just a test to get a new acquisition system out fast enough. And I want to show my operators how, you know, essentially how to operate, but I'm doing kind of twofold. I'm teaching myself what I'm doing again, because sometimes we forget how you got here. And then number two is I want to teach my team also what I'm doing so that way we can flywheel this thing. This is the same process that we took when we started the company in 2023. And it was very hard to figure out an acquisition system until we followed this process to the T. Well, not this process particularly, but we followed a webinar process, and that made us over $10 million in less than 3 years. And so yeah, is it going to take more than probably a month to make another $1 million? Yeah, absolutely. But the process is what's more important. You have to figure out what things are you doing within the timeframes that you're given. Okay, so right now I have 17 appointments on the calendar, right? And I've only talked to 4, right? And 4 of them were qualified, and I made 0 sales. So I'm just going to put 0 so far. I made 0 sales. But the problem doesn't stem at the sales. The problem actually is up here, the show up rate. Okay. This I would like if I had a red light, like green means go. This I would already put like at a yellow or orange. I'd put this at orange because it's kind of like red, but not really, right? This cost per booked appointment, I would put this kind of at a yellow. I'd like it to be $250 or less. This show up cost right here is a red, absolute red. Like if this happens and stays like this, there is no way we can scale this. I have to turn this off and reevaluate everything. Now, why am I so confident in this thing? Well, it's February 9th, so let me show you what I'm looking at as far as the calendar is concerned. Okay. As far as the calendar is concerned, where is it? Let me go back here. Let me pause this. Okay, so how am I so confident in this thing, right? So what I do is I look back here and I just look at the numbers, right? So over the last week, right, this whole week here, Friday, Saturday, all this week, I only really took 4 appointments. I only really talked to 4 people. So that should give you some insight. Is I only talked to 4 people, but there's 17 people on the calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 still to come. Okay. 12 are still to come out of the 17 that we booked. I don't know why it's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't know where the other one went. I think it's a follow-up. It's a follow-up. So I talked to actually 4 people. One of them's a follow-up, so it didn't show up on that calendar, show up on another calendar. And so what I did now, what I'm looking at now is I'm looking at, okay, well, I have 12 more to go. And I only talked to 4. So what's my theory here? That I'll probably talk to 10. If I talk to 10, then this is like, I put this more to yellow. Okay. If I can get 60% or show up rate or so, then I am much more happier. I am going to be super happy with that. Then ideally, if I can get that, then if I can get maybe 5 of these people or even 6 of these people to be qualified, meaning they have the money, they have the need, and they have the process right now. If they are qualified on paper, then I will have a sale at the end of this, right? I will have a sale, which then that means I only made $900, but that's okay because all I need is one sale to validate that this thing worked, and then I can improve everything. So right now it's too small of a sample size, which kind of sucks, right? Because what I mean by that is you have to keep spending. You can't just stop here. Like I have to keep spending until it hits the mark. And so really the mark that I'm trying to shoot for is if I can get to, 15,000 this month, then at the end of the month, I can revisit. Ideally, I'm probably going to try to shoot for 20,000 or 25,000. Now, the reason why is because time is against me. I need to figure out how to do this faster. And I can spend 15,000 in a month. I'm sorry, I could spend 10,000 a month. I could spend 20,000 or 30,000 in a month, and I need more data. I need more data. That's the only way I can do this is to find enough data. But I can tell you already, this is going to be a constraint, meaning this is going to be a problem. And then this, if it doesn't fix itself, it's going to be a problem. Now, I already see some problems coming up is that these people are booking one a day. Having one booked appointment a day is worthless. Like I can't install my sales team into this because they won't have enough flow. This I can install a sales team in. Yeah. If I had this every day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if I had 6 calls a day on the calendar, I can put a sales team on that. Heck yeah. I can put 1 or 2 salespeople on that sucker because I know the numbers will shake out to make more money. Right. And there's nothing more expensive than having a salesperson with an empty calendar. Like that's my job as the leader to fill the calendar. And so I'm having to figure out different ways and getting in the trenches of figuring this process out. But let's assume here that I could get to 10 appointments, right? 10 of them actually showed up. And if they are 4 of them are qualified, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the team and I'm going to say, hey, look, or I'm going to essentially in this process, I'm going to go back and be like, okay, well, which ones brought these and which ones are these? So the 6 right there, I'm just going to stop those ads. And just by process of elimination, I actually cut off the bad and keep the good. So in retrospect, it looks kind of expensive, right? And you're looking at this and like, oh man, like I don't even have $6,500. Just remember, if I'm not willing to spend 30,000 to make $1 million, like come on. If I'm not willing to spend 100,000 to get $1 million out of this thing in the next 12 months, what am I really doing, right? Because you have to be willing to accept certain things. Now, do I have the $100,000 to invest it right now? No. But my process right here, as long as I have the process and there's indicators of success, I can continue to push against this thing because it will pump out something just because of probability. I've done it thousands of times. If this works out and shakes out this number right here, this one core number right here will allow me, well, actually this one to show up. Actually, no, it's really this one, the qualified lead cost. Like whatever, let's say, for example, I get 6 people. A qualified lead cost right here is my number. So I need to know if I talk to, 10 qualified people, how much does it cost me to get a qualified call on the calendar or a qualified call to talk to? Then I know, okay, it takes me $1,000. So if I get 1 out of every 10, that means it's going to cost me $10,000 to get a customer. So then I can spend $10,000 a day so I can get 30 customers in a month, right? That's the math. That's how that math works. And so the first indicators are these things: leads, appointments, show up, qualified lead. The only reason why I'm saying qualified lead after I talk to them, because when people fill out this application, they lie, right? And so I only qualify people after I talk to them on an appointment, right? After I've called them and I've qualified them myself, or they showed up and they determined they were qualified based on the metrics I gave you guys earlier in these trainings here. But if I can dictate this, or I can get myself in the situation where I'm talking to 8 qualified people, now it costs me $800 to get a marketing qualified lead to talk to me. And if I can close 2 of the 8, then my percentage of closing is good, 25%, right? And then that means, watch this. So let's play this out, right? And it's just math, guys. It's just math. So let's say this stays at 6, right? This stays at 6. But if I spend $10,000 a day or so, that means I'll get 2 sales a day. That means I get 60 sales a month. 60 sales a month times 15,000, right? 60 sales a month times 15,000 gives you $900,000 a month. Okay. Now, how much would it cost me to get there? Well, if it's costing me $10,000 a day, right, to get there, times 30 days, so it cost me $300,000 to get $900,000 on the front end. Okay. Not to mention all the back end revenue. That's why I'm saying I'm paying to get a customer. I'm not paying to get so much money right now. I'm just trying to make this process work. And if it works, then I can nail it and scale. Then I can go to $100,000, $200,000 a month, $300,000 a month. But right now, time is against me, and I want it to move faster. But to be fair, I'm keeping my guidelines. I'm keeping within the frames. Like, I'm not going to let this thing go crazy. I'm not going to let this go to $600 or $700 because I know the math won't work downhill, right? So I need to make sure that this works, and I also need to make sure that I get this to 60% and this to this to these numbers right here. My ideal numbers is somewhere, if I can get 12, well, if I can get 10, I'm happy. If I can get this to 8, right? And if I can get this to 2, then I am in the green. I'm in they call it the black, right? But just with my current numbers, if all that happens is literally, if I just get one close out of this, I've broken even, right? I've broken even, meaning it cost me $6,500 to get a customer, which that's not ideal, but it's something you can work off of. Okay. And so how am I validating this in my head to spend so much money, $30,000? Oh my gosh. Like, most people don't have that. I get it. 100%. I get it. But again, I'm not trying to achieve most people's results. I'm trying to do this in faster time than probably 99.9% of the human beings on this planet. And so to do so, you have to be willing to, number one, take risks. Number two, be bold enough to say it and go for it. And so for me, this is kind of what I'm looking at, right? How do I determine, how am I funding this speed with confidence? How am I able to confidently spend? I'm gonna spend $30,000 a month. Here's how. Okay, it's a little math equation. Again, it goes down to math. Now, last week, I'll tell you, when I was talking to people, I was getting frustrated. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I get it now. I forgot how much I hate talking to people. But I mean, I love people. I love talking to these people. It's just like, I've talked to so many people who are qualified, who already love me, like me, trust me. all those things. So when you go back to the trenches and talk to people that don't know you, don't like you, don't trust you, it's a whole different mindset shift again. Okay. And so this is kind of the payback graph. This is how I'm mastering the ad float. And what I call it is the ad float because here's how it works. So on the Y axis, there's dollars. So let's say we have the $30,000 up here, right? This is the $30,000 up here. And this is money, right? So like as I spend more, it gets lower. Like as I spend more over the days, the less and less money I have, right? And so my goal here, right? My goal here is I'm spending days, and then when I make this time frame right here, the billing threshold, meaning I'll explain it right now in a second. But like I'm spending, and then what happens is if I make a sale before 30 days, boom, I get back to zero again, which means I can go doop, and like this allows me to reset. Like what happened from day 0 to day 20 is null and void. Now I can go from 0 to 20 again, and hopefully I can do 0 to 20. The 0 to 10 this time, shortening the speed, so I can increase the cash flow, right? Now, how am I really thinking about this? Okay, so here's the kind of mechanics to this. All right, the idea here is that number one, Meta charges me every other day, so it charges us every other day because we're spending about $1,000 a day right now. Okay. And if we spend $1,000 a day, that comes out to, and Meta charges on $900 increments. So you have to put the billing threshold high enough so you can spend long enough so you can wait out the storm, right? Now, if I'm spending $500, that gives me 2 days, right, of spend before they charge. So I have 2 extra days if I do $500 a day. I hope you're getting the math. Not only that, we're putting it on a credit card. So a credit card has a 30-day cycle from when you purchase to when you have to pay it. So for an example, if I spend it on a credit card right now and Meta charges me every 2 days, that's 2 days, right, that I have to spend. Or in this case, it's 1 day. Every day I get charged $900, right? Or our credit card, right? The business credit card. And not me, it's the owner's credit card, right? So let's say that we spend that, right? That's 1 day. I have 1 day of time cycle. I have 1 day to make a customer. Okay, I can't do it. All right. Now the time begins from when day 1 get charged to day 30 to when that first charge is going to be put on the essentially have to be paid back to the credit card company, which means I have 30 days to pay back that $900. And I do that cycle every day. So it's 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, right? And then the clock is ticking all the way to there. But I have 30 days of interest-free loan to turn this cycle around as fast as I can, cash cycle. So what I do is I grab that money. Once I get this, let's say it takes me 20 days to get my customer, to get one customer, it takes me 20 days, which we have about 20 days left in the month. So let's say it takes me another 14 days to get one customer. Okay. That means it resets and I can get another 20 days. All I do is take that money, pay the credit card, and then rip it again. And then take that money, pay the credit card, rip it again. And then I'm going to do it fast enough. Then what I'll do is I'll hire someone. When you hire someone, guess what? You don't pay them up front. You pay them after 30 days of them working with you. So they start, you get all this work for 30 days. Now you think about it, they're doing 30 days of work and they're getting, you're getting a little bit of time. So I'm getting cash fast and I'm pushing the payments down the road, right? I'm pushing the debt down the road, kind of like taxes, right? If you're watching this, I work with tax firms, and the idea here is that we tell the tax firms like if you don't have to pay taxes, just don't. Like keep pushing it as far as you can away from you as possible so you can make as much money as you want. And that's the wealth strategy, is make enough money, push the taxes so far away that you can build your wealth, and by the time that they can get you, you've already made it and it's already the end of your life. Like that's where I'm going with this. And that's why I kind of tell you guys this. I'm not so worried about the money as much as I'm worried about the time. So I'm trying to borrow the time, not the money. And so that's 30-day, this reset point is what I'm shooting for. I'm going as fast as I can to get to the reset. So the note is I'm not worried about the spending. I'm watching the gap between spend and revenue relative to the billing date. Okay. As long as this revenue spike happens before the payment is due, the system can reset and I can go back to square one. But guess what? Now I have the asset, right? Once it resets and I get back to zero, meaning I've made the money, the $6,500 or the $30,000. Once it resets, I go back to zero, which means I can go back and do it again. But now I go back with 53 leads already, 17 appointments, four people, two people that said yes, and one closed. But now I have three people in the pipeline that are potential for the next month that I can go back and say, hey, you're still looking, right? And this cycle continues to iterate and iterate and iterate. And that's how you compound this process much, much faster. And so, again, I hope this kind of shows you what I'm thinking through. Week 2, here's what I'm thinking about. Number 1, I want to get my first sale on Thursday. That's what the timeline was for someone that said they were going to pay. I haven't made the sale, so I'm still negative $6,000. I want to onboard them immaculately, right? Once I determine which ad brought that person or which if they purchase. I'm going to kill the bad ads, meaning I'm going to stop the ads that are bringing the worst leads, right? I'm going to determine the ads that brought these guys that showed up and were qualified, and I'm going to kill the ads that got these guys that didn't show up. So let's imagine we do get the best, right? And so we do in the best case scenario, this is what it would look like, right? In the best case scenario, just from this numbers right here, just from this current campaign. So let's assume I have 17 appointments, right? And 10 of them showed up, 6 of them were qualified. I'm going to look at the 6 leads, the 6 people that were qualified, and then I'm going to tell Meta, don't get me the other 11. I'm not going to spend any more money on those other 11 because it's not relevant. Those people, I don't want to spend money with them, right? And then what that will happen is it's instantly going to cut my cost of bad leads, which means I will start to get better leads. Now, it's not going to go right away, but it will happen. It just won't happen as soon as I want it to happen. Okay. And so that's really the process there. And then once I do that, if I can get that first sale, guess what? I'm going to $2,000 a day or $1,500 a day so I can double the speed, right? It's all about speed. I want to turn this thing around as fast as possible because I want to install team into it. I don't want to be doing this forever. So I'm only doing this for a means to an end. By the end of February, I want to have a couple of sales down the pipeline so I can bring my sales team in and have them do this so I can get out and move myself out and up. Okay. Most people don't approach it with this kind of vigorous approach, which is why they get stuck in the messy middle, right? They're afraid to, number one, spend because they don't understand the math of this. And then number 2, they don't understand the sales process or the numbers, right? And that's really why I'm doing this February sales challenge, is to showcase what I'm doing. And so when we do it, you're like, oh, I get it now. I understand how he thought through this whole thing, and I can understand how I can do it too. And again, this is also for our team, so that when you guys look at this, you say, oh, got it. Someone has to go take the land. Who's going to be it? Right now it's me, but if for it's not going to be me forever, right? And to depend on me to make this happen is, not going to happen. So the reason why I'm saying this is because I really want you guys to see this and understand this. And again, if this has been helpful, subscribe, follow along, be notified. This is going to be on my YouTube. It's absolutely free. So, just showing my process, but the numbers make me more excited. And then when I start to see that there's traction on these things, then I'm like, oh, let's go. I will tell you, some of the leads that are already booking calls, they're not qualified on paper. So I don't even think I'm going to take them. I'm actually going to probably cancel those calls. So this might actually be like 5, right? And then things get real crazy, right? Things get real bad. So I might actually have to make this cut earlier than later. I might have to make this cut earlier just because when they apply on the calendar, I'm looking at their responses. I'm like, no, there's no way that they're going to afford this. There's just no way. So yeah, hope that helps. See you in the next video.